Now broadcasting from his hidden bunker and fully stocked bar, it is the Saturday Report with Colt Sebastian Taylor.
Thank you, and welcome once again, my friends, to the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor, adventurer, entrepreneur, and amateur fabulous redhead. And welcome to AWSM Radio, independent digital-only radio station that plays today's best music, old school classics, along with a rotating cast of all-star DJs. AWSM Radio focuses on mainstream artists, independent artists, along with a variety of interesting talk and music shows throughout the day. All we do is entertain, inspire, and inform. And my friends, I want you to be part of the conversation. I want you to engage with you. So you can find me mostly on the Twitter, sometimes on Rizzle and Instagram, etc., etc. But Twitter is usually the place to find me. And of course, you should subscribe to the podcast version of this show at anchor.fm/Colt S. Taylor. And also bookmark, if you haven't already, ColtSebastianTaylor.com. All right, my friends, let's get started with this week's Saturday Report. First up this week, my friends, this is my last show. No, I'm not leaving forever. I'm going on vacation. Yes, I'm going to the Emerald Islands. Island. Well, there's more than one technically, but Ireland. I'm going to Ireland, leaving this coming week, and will be gone for several weeks, but I will be back in July. In fact, I will be back with a brand new show at the latest. It will be, let's say July 2nd. Yes, that'll be the latest, that I will be back with the show. I may try to do one while I'm over there, but I won't have my multi-million-dollar recording studio, so I don't want to put out product to you that is bad. So, but we'll see what happens. But I would say, at the very least, after this broadcast, you'll next hear from me in July as I take a well-deserved vacation to overseas and whatnot. So I will be gone for over 2 weeks, so I would send you a postcard, but I realized if I sent one, if I put that out there and got 1,000 requests, that would be several $1,000s worth of postcards I have to send out. I just don't have time to write those out, or the money to buy those stamps. Irish postcard stamps, $2.20, $2, or €2.20, so a little more expensive than that. Go figure. But just want to let you know, so next week, you don't panic. I'm fine. I'm just on vacation. Next, my friends, it's June. That means it is Pride Month. What's that? Well, it's Pride Month for the LGBTQ I+ community out there. It's a month-long celebration of self-affirmation, equality, dignity to the lesbian, bisexual, trans, queer, intersex, and everyone else under that umbrella term, whatnot. I'm not super up to date with it, whatnot, but you know what I'm talking about. It's Pride Month, so if you have a chance to attend a Pride parade where you are, more likely in a blue state than a red state, I certainly encourage you to do so. And if you are shocked that Colt Sebastian Taylor is pro-Pride Month, you haven't been paying attention. This may surprise you. Colt Sebastian Taylor, he's a friend of all, enjoys all, adores all, except for truly ignorant people stuck in the 1950s or earlier. If you are basing your outward looks on life on stuff that is dated by more than 2 to 3 decades, hey, more power to you. But while you yell kids to get off your lawn, I'm going to go to a fantastic parade with fabulous people with delightful drinks and delightful food. That's just the way I roll. So, anyways, happy Pride Month to all of my fans out there. I've got quite a few. Hope you have a good Pride Month. Attend as many parades as possible. I'll be in Ireland. Not exactly known for that sort of, not really known for that being that support of the community, but they're getting better. We Irish are getting better. But I want to say, officially, Happy Pride Month, my friends. We now go to India, where AWSM Radio is very big. Hello to all of my fans in India and around the world. But this came across my news desk. Very shocking news happened earlier this week. Indian rapper turned politician Sindhu Moosewala was shot dead in India. He was a very popular Indian rapper, turned into a politician, and apparently he was shot by unidentified assailants while driving near his home in Mansa, which is in the India's Punjab state, last Sunday. He was 28 years old. His real name was Shabdeep Singh Sindhu, which I'm probably butchering. Apparently he sustained bullet injuries and was taken to the hospital where he was confirmed dead. Apparently there were 30 casings found at the crime scene that belonged to 3 different weapons. The Punjab police have linked it to a gang rivalry with a gang member from Canada, apparently alleging responsibility for his death. But political groups have blamed Punjab's ruling Aam Aadmi Party, the AAP, for allowing the killing to take place. According to a statement by India's ruling BJP party, Sindhu Moosewala was gunned down in state-sponsored murder. The AAP government is totally responsible for this. Apparently, he was killed around 4:30 p.m. He left a car with 2 people. 2 cars approached and opened fire. This comes after the government in that state scaled back and withdrew security from almost 400 officials, including 120 or so politicians, including Moosewala. According to the press, critics said the move would make the individuals more vulnerable, which was obviously true. According to police, Moosewala usually had 4, they call them commandos, but they're guards, access to him, but 2 were reassigned to cover the anniversary of a Sikh massacre. Moosewala apparently had 2 guards, but chose not to travel with him on Sunday. He also had access to a bulletproof car, but he chose not to take it. He became famous in 2017 with his first song, which apparently became one of the most prominent musicians of his generation. He had 8 million followers on Instagram and had millions of views on YouTube. Fellow rapper Drake posted R.I.P. Moose and a picture of him on his own Instagram. So he was, fairly well known in the rap community. He became a politician in 2021 and joined the Punjab legislation in February. So our boy was defeated by a rival in the AAP. But pretty shocking death apparently. A lot of people upset about that. And made international news. So obviously, I'm an international person, so obviously that's something I have to cover. Moving along, folks, to Yellowstone National Park. Now, as you may remember, as you may recall, as it may cross upon your minds, at one time, I did a story about someone in Yellowstone getting a fine for getting too close to the wildlife, too close to bears. Well, someone in Yellowstone got gored by a bison. A 25-year-old from Ohio got thrown into the air after a bison charged her and gored her when she got within 10 feet of it. Now, a bison, also a buffalo, they're big, horned, cow-like folks that are real fast. Apparently the bison were walking near a boardwalk near a black sand basin just north of Old Faithful when a woman, according to the park statement, got too close to it, gored her, and tossed her 10 feet into the air. She was from Grove City, Ohio. I know exactly where that is. I am not surprised. Sustained puncture wounds and other injuries. Park emergency medical providers responded and transported her via ambulance to a hospital in Idaho. It's the first goring of this year, but it's not uncommon. Bisons are unpredictable, and they have injured more people in Yellowstone than any other animal and can run 3 times faster than humans. Yes, a bison is 3 times as fast as you are, folks. Don't get close to them. It is federal law that you need to be at least 25 yards away from a bison. 75 feet away from the bison, or you'll be fined and likely banned from the park. 10 feet is a lot closer than 25 yards. 25 yards. So, fortunately, she wasn't killed. They can't do that, though. So, if you go to Yellowstone, do not get close to the wildlife, especially bisons, especially bears. Anything that can gore you or kill you, get away from it. Next up, folks, we go to football. Football, that's right. Football games, for that matter, I don't play them. I have not played a football video game since NFL Blitz, which should date me a bit. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. But John Madden has a popular series of video games, and this year, EA Sports is putting John Madden back on the cover of its video game, John Madden, or Madden NFL 23. John Madden was on the face of this video game up until about the year 2000, but then they were started putting players on there and whatnot. And this is the 34th anniversary of the game. Yes, John Madden video game football games. This is the 34th year they've released them. So I'll let you just let that sink in for a bit. Yeah, it's been around that long. Pretty cool, huh? Anyways, John Madden was on the first dozen or so NFL Madden games, providing his voice for it and whatnot, and his likeness in there. But now he'll be back on the cover to honor him. He passed away last year, as you may remember. Hall of Fame coach, commentator, now on the front. The picture of him is a younger version of John Madden. I would say, I don't know, probably 80s, mid-80s maybe. He still had color in his hair. It's him bursting through the cover, holding the football, and it says, "Thanks, Coach," right next to it. As you may remember, he was the coach of the Oakland Raiders in the 1970s. Apparently, this game will feature 2 versions of Madden leading opposing teams of all Madden athletes facing off in the recreation of the 1970s Oakland Coliseum. Coliseum. Ooh, that's a tough word. Where he coached them to a Super Bowl championship. In addition, they will remaster audio clips from his broadcasting days and feature them in the game. And apparently there are other ways they are honoring John Madden, which they will reveal in the coming weeks. Beyond putting him on the cover, EA Sports is going to be giving $2.5 million to the John Madden Legacy Commitment to Education to support programming for the next 5 years to College Track, Mission Bit, Street Code Academy, and Girls Who Code. And another $5.5 million will be devoted to the creation of the EA Madden Scholarship in partnership with the United Negro College Fund. So they are remembering him, giving some money to some educations, which is great. In a statement from Cam Weber, EA Sports Executive Vice President and General Manager, he said, "Coach Madden was a lifelong believer in the importance of education. We are privileged to support these amazing organizations that are creating opportunities for the next generation to pursue their dreams in his honor." So, it's a very, very tasteful action by EA Sports, gesture, I guess the word I'm looking for. So, I don't play Madden football, but he is once again on the cover of the game he helped launch 34 years ago. Speaking of video games, I'll tell you who should have his own video game with his face on the cover. It's my pal DC, that's right, he's so amazing. There should be a video game series based off of his DJing skills, but until then, you can enjoy them every weekend on his multitude of shows here. I mean, he's got 300% more shows than I do. Am I jealous? Yes. But, nevertheless, I'm proud of him. The first up is DC Live in Effect. Broadcasts every Friday night at 9 p.m. You don't want to miss it while he kicks it, the beats from South Florida, smashing it on the ones and twos. Then on Saturdays, it's House Party Saturdays, where DC brings his DJing style to the max. House Party Saturdays give you the Miami vibe without actually having to be in the state of Florida. From the top clubs to the bars, DC will bring the party to you Saturdays at 10 p.m. And then finally, it's DC Live in Effect yet again, Sundays at 10 p.m. So all of your DC needs right here on AWSM Radio. DC Live in Effect, Fridays at 9 p.m. DC House Party Saturdays, Saturday at 10 p.m. And then DC Live in Effect, once again, ending your weekend, Sundays at 10 p.m. Right here, my friends, on AWSM Radio. Next, we go to the movies. Top Gun Maverick came out this week, and I hear it's pretty good. I'm probably not going to see it. But what is interesting to me is that Val Kilmer makes an appearance in this movie. He was in the original movie as Iceman. And you may not be aware of this, but Val Kilmer actually lost his voice in 2014. He had throat cancer treatment. He is completely cancer-free now, but the treatment destroyed his voice box, unfortunately. And he sounds nothing like he did and has to kind of hold his throat together to speak. It's very squeaky, very raspy and whatnot. He does not sound like Val Kilmer anymore. So they're trying to figure out, we were feeling like, how's Val Kilmer going to be in this movie and whatnot? He can't really speak. He can talk, but it's very jarring, and it's very tough for him to talk for, I believe, for long periods of time. Well, what they did is they used some pretty impressive technology. They used some artificial intelligence to create a mock-up of his voice, and I've listened to it, and holy moly, I would not know that was a artificially generated voice. Apparently, this company called Sonantic put together hundreds of hours of voice archives of the actor and create algorithms allowing him to speak, and it sounds amazing. Like, I haven't seen the movie, but the company posted a clip online of a completely Val Kilmer generated voice. In the movie, Iceman has cancer and is communicating by typing, and the technology uses his voice to recreate his voice to talk in the movie. Pretty impressive use of technology, and I hope it becomes a whole lot more available to other people too, because a lot of people have, lose their voice over time. If they can generate enough algorithms and footage or recordings of a previous voice, they can recreate it. On the other hand, you can also use artificial intelligence to make people say things they never said before. So I'm sure this technology will not be used or abused in any way that will, cause problems in the future. I've always find that when there's new technology, it rarely gets abused whatsoever. I'm sure everything will be fine. Yeah, so it's going to be terrible one day, I'm sure. But until then, we can all enjoy it. Now, another Val Kilmer-related thing is another movie that I love, Willow. That's right, the movie Willow. My puppy, it's also named Willow, although not after that Willow, but she's looking at me right now as I'm talking here. But on Disney Plus, Willow is coming back. That's right, it's coming back. On Disney Plus, a series. Warwick Davis is coming back. And although Val Kilmer will not be in that movie, the daughter of Mad Mardigan will be in that series and whatnot. So apparently the actress that's playing Mad Mardigan's daughter has been trading emails with Val Kilmer to get an idea of him and whatnot, so that he's a major figure in the story, although he will not be appearing. Allegedly. We'll see. I don't know. They could just be saying that to surprise us. Doesn't matter. I'm going to watch it. The series looks amazing. Love Warwick Davis. Love the movie Willow. When it comes out on Disney Plus, I'll be watching it, that's for sure. Love myself some high fantasy fun. Oh boy, it's going to be great. I hope they use the music's great. You know what? Rent Willow. Check it out. It's a great movie. It's a great movie. We now go to Las Vegas, Sin City, the city of seedy crime and gambling, and Elvis-themed weddings. Well, not anymore. That's right, my friends. You cannot get married by Elvis anymore in Las Vegas. What's going on here? What sort of evil left-wing or right-wing or religious fanatics have stopped the fun of Elvis Presley lookalikes marrying people? Well, my friends, unfortunately, it's capitalism. Yes, that's right. The licensing company that owns the rights to Elvis has sent a cease and desist order to the Las Vegas chapels that use Elvis Presley's likenesses, saying you can't do that anymore. The licensing company that controls the name and image of the king is ordering all Las Vegas chapels to stop using Elvis-themed ceremonies, apparently. According to the news this week, Authentic Brands Groups sent cease and desist letters in early May to multiple chapels and are expected to become compliant now. However, Las Vegas tourist industry saying this could decimate these businesses. According to Kayla Collins, who operates Las Vegas Elvis Wedding Chapel.com and the Little Chapel of Hearts with her husband, she says, "We are a family-run business, and now we're hanging on with the big dogs. That's our bread and butter. I don't get it. We were just hitting our stride again through COVID, and then this happens." Clark County Clerk Lynn Goya, who led a marketing campaign promoting Las Vegas as a wedding destination, said the order for chapels to stop using Elvis couldn't have come at a worse time for the industry. "It might destroy a portion of our wedding industry. A number of people might lose their livelihood." Apparently, the wedding industry in Las Vegas generates $2 billion a year, and Elvis-themed weddings is a significant number of ceremonies performed. So one chapel will now be doing rock and roll themed ceremonies, but not specifically Elvis-themed ceremonies. Graceland Wedding Chapel, which does 6,400 Elvis-themed weddings a year, has not received a cease and desist letter yet, according to their manager. Authentic Brands Group would not comment on this story that I received from NPR when they asked to comment about it. The company oversees the estates of big names like Marilyn Monroe, Muhammad Ali, and 50 consumer brands. In the cease and desist letter, the company says it will halt the unauthorized use of, quote, Presley's name, likeness, voice image, and other elements of Elvis Presley's persona in advertisements, merchandise, and otherwise. The letter also said that Elvis Presley, and the King of Rock and Roll are protected trademarks. Now, here's the thing. Here's the weird thing. There are lots of Elvis stage shows in Las Vegas, including the show All Shook Up, but this should not impact those shows, because impersonating someone for live performances, such a show, is considered an exception under Nevada's right of publicity law, according to a local attorney that wrote the statute. An Elvis show is a performer essentially entertaining others by recreating that person on stage, according to Mark Tratos, who wrote the statute. Kent Ripley, whose business is called Elvis Weddings, has never run into any issues in the 25 years of performing Elvis. They want to protect the Elvis brand, but what are they protecting by taking Elvis away from the public? Said Ripley. So apparently, apparently you can hire a band to perform as Elvis at a reception, but you cannot have Elvis Presley themed wedding. Those are two different things, apparently. So, capitalism, once again, striking down the fun of young couples, all for the almighty dollar. I don't know about you, my friends, but I am all shook up. Bam! That's the button. We now go to New York City, a city so nice they named it twice, where 8,000 bees were removed from 3 World Trade Center in Lower Manhattan last weekend. There are pictures of them just swarming all over these beams, and they're removed by the New York Police Department's bee unit. Yes, the New York Police Department has a unit specifically for bees. I guess bee calls are a thing. Enough that they have a unit to do that. Now, they don't kill the bees, because bees are very important to the ecosystem for pollination, stuff like that. They remove the bees, and they take them and relocate them to different places. Sometimes near New York City, sometimes outside of New York City. They take them off the buildings. And what they do is they use a special vacuum, and they go, they kind of just suck up the bees, put them in a special container, it doesn't hurt them, and then they take them to a new place for a new hive. They gotta find the queen and whatnot. But yeah, that's what they do. They have a bee unit to do it. I guess it's the thing. But 8,000 honeybees is not the largest number of bees that they've dealt with this year. Apparently their first call was in early May, and they removed 20,000 bees from a low-hanging tree in Queens. And then they removed 15,000 bees on May 15th that was swarming around Times Squares. But these are, I don't know if they're bee enthusiasts who are also police officers, but they are the New York Police Department's beekeeper unit. When asked why the bees have been swarming in recent days, Officer Darren Mays, who is a beekeeper, said that if a hive is crowded, bees might head somewhere else for more room. So, I guess even bees have a bit of a housing crisis. But good to see, though. You know, if you have a bee problem, you don't kill honeybees. They're very, very important. Hornets, who cares? No one likes hornets. But honeybees, very important to the environment. If you see a hive there that's, swarming around your shed, call a professional. They'll come out, gently remove the bees, and relocate them to a place where they can continue to contribute to the pollination of plants in the local environment. My friend, speaking of New York City, gem is my friend Rox, and she hosts the Rock Sessions. It's our drive time show here on AWSM Radio, making sure your evening commute homes are fun, featuring the hottest music on the charts and some other surprises in between. She will make it rock style, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, all the weekdays from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So be sure you have the app, log in, listen, you will enjoy it. You might be stuck in traffic, but you won't be bored. Listen to the Rock Sessions, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., right here on AWSM Radio. Moving along, friends, some sad news for some of our older listeners. The last Howard Johnson restaurant in upstate New York closed this week. It was once a very popular, very pervasive eatery, food restaurant with orange roofs and blue spires that were found all over the place many, many years ago, but had dwindled in the last few decades. But the last few finally closed, and the last one officially in Lake George, New York, closed. The restaurant did not open for Memorial Day weekend and is for lease. According to the Facebook site Hojo Land, they said last week plastic tables, chairs, and memorabilia were removed, and there were cobwebs on the door. Howard Johnson, also known as Hojo's, was well known to many baby boomers. had 28 ice cream flavors, fried clam plates, but as fast food outlets became more popular, places like McDonald's and Burger King, but even like Chili's and Panera Bread, stuff like that, only a few operated under the Howard Johnson's name beginning in 2015. There were a few restaurants in Lake Placid and Bangor, Maine, but they closed in 2015 and 2016. Now, there are Howard Johnson hotels, and those are still operating, and the Wyndham Hotel Group has the rights to the name Howard Johnson. But these restaurants had contracts and they were grandfathered. They were allowed to continue to use the brand name for as long as they wanted to, until they closed. So they were grandfathered into allowing them to use the name. There used to be Howard Johnson Restaurants, Howard Johnson Hotels. The Wyndham Group bought the hotels and said that the restaurants still operating with the name could continue to use them, but once they closed, they weren't making any new ones. Apparently, the man who leased the Howard Johnson in 2015, after it was closed for a few years, it reopened under a new operator who kept it running, but with the COVID stuff, it really could not get off the ground, make a profit, so it is officially closed. There are now no more Howard Johnson restaurants. So I ate a few back in the day, but I would have to say I probably had not eaten one in at least 30 years, maybe. Yeah. So, but hey, another icon fading away due to capitalism. Oh my goodness, I'm so left-wing this week, but it happened. Next up, we go to entertainment once again, where James Earl Jones is back as Darth Vader in the show Kenobi, or Obi-Wan Kenobi, on Disney Plus, following Obi-Wan Kenobi's time on Tatooine, about 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, but probably 10 or 12 years before A New Hope. He ages really bad in the next 10 years, apparently. But Darth Vader is voiced by James Earl Jones. Once again, Darth Vader makes an appearance in the third episode. Sorry, spoilers. But this was a surprise to some people because his role was not announced. They kind of kept it as a little bit of a surprise. He is 91 years old. Yes, 91 years old. Came back to do the voice of Darth Vader, which he first did in 1977. Fun fact, he was not initially credited in Star Wars, but his name has been added in future movies, and when they re-released the movies, they put that back in there as well. He also did the voice for Rogue One, a standalone movie, and the animated series Star Wars Rebels, so he is very much in there. So, Ewan McGregor plays a younger Obi-Wan Kenobi. Other people in that show include Moses Ingram, Joel Edgerton, Bonnie Pisces, Kumali Najira, Indra Varma, Rupert Friend. I'm butchering all these names, so I'm just going to stop. But anyways, haven't seen it yet. I plan to watch it when I get back from Ireland, but looks pretty good. A lot of people don't like it, but those people are stupid. And I don't really care what they have to say, so I'm going to watch it. So I suggest you do as well. Next up in medical news, there is experimental new gene therapy that has done some pretty amazing things and could be a new treatment for pancreatic cancer, which is a very deadly cancer. It has a very high fatality rate. By the time anyone knows anything's wrong with the pancreas, it's already several stages in. But it's a major treatment, not only pancreatic cancer, but also other cancers as well. Basically, the therapy tweaks the genes of immune cells, your immune system, to attack tumor cells, which is pretty amazing. Dr. Carl June has spent more than a decade pioneering this method of immune therapy for certain blood cancers. He said this is really exciting stuff. He's not been involved in this work, but he's worked in the area. So someone named was Kathy Wilkes. She had pancreatic cancer in 2018, went around 8 rounds of chemotherapy, as well as an operation called a Whipple procedure that removed a part of her pancreas. About a year later, the cancer had spread to her lungs. She was on to do chemotherapy, but she went around and found a 2016 case report in the New England Journal of Medicine that detailed a person with advanced colon cancer had been helped by experimental type of gene therapy targeting a cancer mutation called KRAS-G12D. And she reached out to the author of the report, Eric Tran, and Tran was at the National Institute of Health when he treated the colon cancer patient, but since moved to the Providence Cancer Institute of Portland, Oregon, and that's where they found each other. It turns out that Kathy Wilkes, had the same genetic mutation as the colon cancer patient, despite having 2 different types of cancer. And so they tried it on her, and it worked. It helped knock down the therapy. They basically took a sample of her T cells, which is a type of immune cell, modified them, and reprogrammed them to attack the tumor cells. Then they were multiplied billions of times in the lab, and then put back in her body in a single intravenous infusion. Now, this is very similar to a type of therapy called the CAR T therapy that was developed at the University of Pennsylvania. According to Dr. Ron Leader, who is the co-author of this new report and co-director of the head and neck cancer therapy program at the Providence Cancer Institute, said this therapy could potentially be a one-and-done treatment. That's right, folks. That if they can figure out how to make this work on more cancers, if you got cancer, you go in, you get this treatment, then it's gone. So, all that cancer research money being put into that, turns out it's going to good things. So, apparently, so the infusion for Kathy here was in June 2021. Within a month, the tumors in her lungs had shrank by half. 6 months later, tumors were down 72% of the original size. What they still need to figure out, though, is how long this treatment will last. So that potentially could be one and done, but they don't know. Now, speaking of bringing things, I'm going to bring you some sports-related stuff there now, my friends. That's right. If you are around on Wednesday nights and you need to know what's going on with sports, AWSM Radio has got you covered. First up, it's To the Rack with Mac, your go-to spot for all things basketball. Join NBA expert Mac Daddy as he brings you a full hour of high-flying hoops. Right. Anything you need about NBA, Mac Daddy has got you covered. Wednesdays at 9 p.m. And then at 10 p.m., also on Wednesdays, it's What's Going On. It is our Fox affiliate sports show here, providing listeners with over 150 years of sports knowledge, hosted by Nate Brown and his crew. They are a staple of Western New York sports for the past 2 decades, and they're now moving national, and we got them here, friends. That's right. It's To the Mac. It's To the Rack with Mac. So hard to say. Wednesdays at 9 p.m. And then What's Going On? Wednesdays at 10 p.m. right here, my friends, on AWSM Radio. Well, my friends, that just about wraps up this week's Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor. Thank you so much for joining me here today. As a reminder, I will be likely off the air for the rest of the month as I travel the world / Ireland on vacation, a well-deserved one. Thank you very much. So I hope you have a good month of June. Watch out for the monkeypox. And, of course, you can find me on the Twitter, on the Instagram, and on, sometimes Wriggle now, at Colt S. Taylor. Subscribe to the podcast version of this show at anchor.fm/ Colt S. Taylor. Sometimes those shows are a little bit longer than this one. I might add a little extra content in there. And of course, bookmark ColtSebastianTaylor.com. I will be posting pictures on Twitter here and there, so if you want to say hello, please do. Until next time, I'm Colt Sebastian Taylor, and I'll see you later.